have another poem for you from the Home Book of Verse for Young Folks. It's a little bit of a longer one today, called A Legend of the Northland by Phoebe, Cary. Away, away in the Northland, where the hours of the day are few, and the nights are so long in winter they cannot sleep them through, where they harness the swift reindeer to the sledges when it snows, and the children look like bears' cubs in their funny furry clothes. They tell them a curious story. I don't believe it's true, and yet you may learn a lesson if I tell the tale to you. Once, when the good St. Peter lived in the world below and walked about it preaching, just as he did, you know, he came to the door of a cottage in traveling round the earth, where a little woman was making cakes and baking them on the hearth. And being faint with fasting, for the day was almost done, he asked her from her store of cakes to give him a single one. So she made a very little cake, but as it baking lay, she looked at it and thought it seemed too large to give away. Therefore she needed another, and still a smaller one, but it looked, when she turned it over, as large as the first had done. Then she took a tiny scrap of dough and rolled it flat, and baked it thin as a wafer. But she couldn't part with that, for she said, "My cakes, that seem too small when I eat of them myself, are yet too large to give away." So she put them on the shelf. Then good St. Peter grew angry, for he was hungry and faint, and surely such a woman was enough to provoke a saint. And he said, "You are far too selfish to dwell in human form, to have both food and shelter, and fire to keep you warm. Now you shall build as the birds do, and shall get your scanty food by boring and boring and boring all day in the hard, dry wood." Then up she went through the chimney, never speaking a word, and out of the top flew a woodpecker, for she was changed to a bird. She had a scarlet cap on her head, and that was left the same, but all the rest of her clothes were burned black as a coal in the flame. And every country schoolboy has seen her in the wood, where she lives in the trees till this very day, boring and boring for food. This is the lesson she teaches: live not for yourself alone, lest the needs you will not pity shall one day be your own. Give plenty of what is given to you, listen to pity's call. Don't think the little you give is great, and the much you get is small. Now, my little boy, remember that, and try to be kind and good. When you see the woodpecker's sooty dress, and see her scarlet hood, you mayn't be changed to a bird, though you live as selfishly as you can, but you will be changed to a smaller thing, a mean and selfish man.